Hello guys, it's Max here from Daily Market Movements. Welcome to another episode where today we're going to be analysing the crude oil markets. Crude oil currently finds itself trading just shy of $74 a barrel. Now this is the highest level that we've traded dating back to the 14th of March. So we've pretty much unwind 2 weeks of losses here for the crude oil markets. I think at this point it's highly likely that we do go and test the 50-day EMA, which currently sits at $74.90 a barrel. The big question is whether we can break above it. If we can break above it, all of a sudden crude oil looks very, very bullish and we could potentially go and target the 200-day EMA. That being said, I still don't like owning crude oil here. I'm still a massive believer that within the next 12 months we will enter into a recession. Also, some very interesting data that I found on my Bloomberg terminal this morning, and that's that there's been the largest amount of short positions opened in crude oil at present in over 4 years. So that just shows you what the sentiment on the street is like towards crude oil. You know, a lot of people are trying to fade this rally here. But what's very interesting as well is that we are now entering into a very strong 2 to 3 month seasonal period for the crude oil markets, where crude oil typically does perform very well. So it's interesting to add that seasonality and sentiment together to kind of paint a picture as to where crude oil could potentially trade within the next couple of weeks and months ahead. But with that being the case, I prefer to stay clear of this market. It could potentially offer a good selling opportunity if we do go up towards a 50-day EMA, but we're not quite there yet. But I think it's all about the economic data, right, and what the Fed does. I think that you are going to start to see a much clearer correlation between the stock market and crude oil as we move forward over the next couple of weeks and months ahead. You know, if the Fed still strikes a hawkish tone, then I think stocks could potentially drop, and you could see crude oil drop along with it, because that will just spark recession fears. But if we did start to hear more of a Fed pivot or a dovish tone to Jerome Powell's voice, then we could potentially see crude oil trade rather well along with the stock market. So yeah, that's one thing I'm definitely going to be keeping a very close eye on going into the next couple of weeks and months ahead, is the correlation between crude oil and the stock market. But when I do decide to open a trade, and it could be very soon, and if you'd like to copy that trade, then please do not hesitate to scan this QR code on your screen. It will take you to my website where you can then subscribe to my Signal service, where I charge a very small fee of $29 to join.